Okay, welcome to our very first meeting of 2019. Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. We're going to have the invocation this evening from Chaplain LaVorce Holloway from the Clayton County Police Department, be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would, stand with me.
Let us bow our heads and hearts. God of all creation, we come to you on tonight with our hearts humbled, expressing our sincere gratitude for giving us life and health. We beseech your presence to be with us, this board and this county. As we embark upon this first meeting of the new year, we pray that a new spirit be upon us all, the spirit of wisdom, understanding, unity, mercy, and grace. We pray for Chairman Turner, Commissioners Gregory, Franklin Warner, Hambrick, and our newest servant, Davis. May they operate with one accord and with synergistic mind to propel this great county forward. May their objectives be fulfilled, disagreements be resolved, and their leadership be with integrity. We pray that every constituent, business, and organization that we pray for a cohesive effort be launched, that this will be a place that will emerge being a good place to live, work, play, and serve. Thank you for inclining your ear to us and hearing us when we pray. Let everyone say amen. Amen. Let us recite the pledge together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to the January 2nd, 2019 regular business meeting. The first order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Does any board member want to offer any amendments?
Yes, Madam Clerk, I would like to remove item K as in King, from the consent agenda and place it on the regular agenda. And K is Resolution 2019-1, providing for the designation of Vice Chairman for the Board of Commissioners. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Also would like to remove ordinance 2019-9. And basically we need to remove that because we need some additional time to post advertisement on it. And that's a ordinance adopted under the home rule powers specifically granted to the governing authority. It deals with the time change of, it's a first read dealing with possible time change of the board meetings. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, are there any further amendments?
I do. I would like to take 2019-13 separately from the consent agenda.
Which one is that, Commissioner?
2019-13.
Okay, 2019-13 is a resolution to rescind Resolution 2018-126. Is there a second?
Second.
Those opposed? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
It's 4-1, it passes.
Are there any further amendments?
Yes, I have just a question. Can we pull V, which is 2019-13 and 29?
That's one we just did.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2019-17, and leave it for discussion during our commission board retreat on the 25th.
Okay, the motion is to remove 2019-17, a resolution to abolish the Deputy Chief Operating Officer position. Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it fails.
Okay, and I would like to pull several of these out for separate vote. That's D, which is the budget amendment. alphabet D. R.
When you pull them out, Commissioner, if you could just elaborate what they are. just
Okay,
for a couple minutes.
that one is the vote on the health building, the $2 million something for the repairs on the health building. Ordinance in R, which is ordinance 20,
Let's take them individual, so that way then.
I just want to pull them out and vote separately.
Okay, yes,
instead of
ma'am.
the
Yes,
consent
ma'am.
agenda.
I'm with you now, go ahead.
Okay,
please. I'm sorry.
okay, instead of the consent agenda, I would like to vote on these separately. That's D, the budget amendment, R, which is the ordinance 2019-8, the burn ban, S, resolution 2019-10, public comment, and AA, double A.
DRS and double A.
Uh-huh, and Z, resolution 2019-17.
We already dealt with Z.
Well, no, I asked for it to be discussed
Okay.
at
I
the
got You
board
want to put it on
retreat.
the regular agenda? No, we took.
No,
we
I just
voted
want to
on
vote
that.
separately instead of the consent.
That's already been voted on.
We've already left that there. We voted on that already.
No,
So do
you
you want, do
voted,
you want to put it on the regular agenda?
we can put it on the regular agenda, I just want to vote for it separately. What, the
Okay.
question the first time was, the motion was to take it off and
No.
discuss it at the board retreat.
That's correct.
And
So now
it
you
was
just
3-2.
want to take it off and vote on it separately?
Yes,
Okay. So if I am correct, D as in David,
R,
R Robert, S as in Sam, Z zebra, and double A.
yes,
You would like to take off the consent agenda and place on the regular agenda.
vote separately.
And that's your motion. Is there a second on it?
A second.
All right, those in favor, aye. Aye. Oppose? It's unanimous.
Are there any further amendments? Mr. Chairman, I would ask to remove the item A, which is the approval of the December 18, 2018 regular business meeting minutes, to vote on that one separately as well.
All right, I place that in form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Oppose? It's unanimous.
Are there any further amendments? Hearing none, may we have a motion to adopt the agenda with the approved amendments?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Oppose? It's unanimous.
Approval of the December 18, 2018 regular business meeting minutes?
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There's one abstention. It passes unanimously. Well, not unanimously, but four of one is the abstention.
Thank you. The board will now consider the consent agenda.
All right, is there a motion past the consent agenda?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, we will start with the,
D.
with the budget amendment. Finance, Dennis Johnston.
Good evening, Commissioners. Before you have Budget Amendment 2-3 in the amount of $2,100,750. And this is to repair the roof and complete mold remediation for the facility used by the Health Department at 1117 Battle Creek Road. That's coming from fund balance.
Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any questions? Hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Chairman, we will go to
R.
item R,
Actually, it's
Chuck
K.
Reed Legal.
Actually, it's what?
K. Item K.
19.
Did we want to take K first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take care. That'll be fine.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. First is Resolution 2019-1, which is a resolution providing for the designation of the Vice Chairman for the Board of Commissioners, to provide for the term of office for the Vice Chairman, to provide an effective date of this resolution for other purposes. And this will be a vote to designate that person.
Right. Any nominations? I'd like to nominate Commissioner Felicia Warner. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next.
The
Now,
next
Mr. Chair, we
is
will go to all.
resolution, I'm sorry, ordinance 2019-8, which is a ordinance to amend the Code of Clayton County, Georgia, as amended specifically Part 1, Chapter 42, Fire Prevention and Protection, Article 4, Open Burning, so as to delete Section 42-92B, Medical Exemption, to repeal conflicting laws, ordinances, and resolutions, to provide for severability, to provide for effective date of this ordinance, and for other purposes.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I
Um,
do.
Commissioner
You can go
Gregory.
on. You can go.
Commissioner Gregory.
Just a question. I know, last year, a lot of, things were added back into this ordinance, so that what we're doing now, we're just totally deleting, the consideration for those with a medical condition. I just want to clarify that that's what we're doing.
Well, what it does is lift that restriction, the medical requirement to it. And prior to that, we were under the State Forestry Commission's recommendation, and that worked just fine. But I feel that listening to what the people and a whole lot of folks spoke to me concerning my one vote, expressed to me, then I'm comfortable with this. But there's nothing in this book that cannot be revisited later.
So are we keeping the medical portion in?
No, this removes that.
Is that the total of it, Chuck?
Yes,
Okay.
the section that is being removed is relating to the fire marshal's office, the authorization for them to ban outdoor burning. And that the medical ban request shall be signed by a physician licensed to practice medicine in the state of Georgia. That's the only section that's being removed.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is that included in the
Commissioner.
state? You said that is not included in the
Not in
state
the
ban,
state
or is not?
forestry commissions.
And we're taking it out. I just want to be clear.
That's correct.
Okay.
If this is approved, then that subsection will be removed.
Yeah. We created it and we can remove it. Any other questions? All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Next.
The next is Resolution 2019-10, which is a resolution authorizing Clayton County to modify its method of receiving public comments during board meetings in an effort to create and maintain order during said meetings and work sessions, to provide an effective date and for other purposes.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Next.
The next is Resolution 2019-13, which is a resolution to rescind Resolution 2018-126, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? I'll
Second.
make Commissioner Davis second the motion. Any questions?
I do, Mr. Chair. I would like to ask for just a point of parliamentary inquiry. And just ask a couple of questions that I emailed you earlier about this, resolution. Would you mind answering those questions?
I'm not sure if I just briefly looked at it prior to, so restate your question. I'll be only too happy to answer for it.
When we put people on the board, would you say that does the clerk send the letters out to notify people when we put them on various boards and so forth?
That is correct.
Okay, were there any letters that were intentionally held up, prior to, after we voted on the previous
I have a
ordinance
number,
for?
I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
That's okay, no, go on.
No, I have a number of documents and stuff on my desk, so I'm sure it's probably within there. But the letter does not It's not an official document saying one way or the other. Now, when you look at it procedurally, I do believe that the Development Authority has not had a meeting, nor has there been any swearing in of any of those people who were appointed. So I believe procedurally, we have a right to do it, to
So-
repeal or rescind this
I guess
resolution.
my question is I haven't heard of us, board members being sworn in. Are any other board members sworn in? And the resolution says because they hadn't been sworn in or something like that, so I had,
Can you show me where it does?
in the resolution, it makes a point of, saying that they, that the members have not been sworn in or something.
Mr. Chair, if I may state, I think that we need to go ahead and call for the question on the basis that the way that we put them on was questionable, so we just need to rectify this.
This isn't that one. This is the rolling back or rescinding from the, correct me if I'm wrong, from the 9, the 2 additional
Yes.
new
No,
ones.
it's
That's
rescinding that, yeah.
yes,
it's the
that's what
one
I'm
that's
speaking of.
rescinding that.
How we put them on.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to go ahead and call for the question.
All right, question's been called.
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Going back to the original motion, is there a motion to approve?
Yes, sir. I make a motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Next.
The next is Resolution 2019-17, which is a resolution to abolish the Deputy Chief Operating Officer position in the Commissioner's Office, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes.
Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? Oh, I can wait 2 seconds.
Okay.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any questions or statements?
The only thing is, I think that we need to make sure that we put the support in this as well. Did we already do that? Because there's a support
document.
position to this, this position. There's a
No,
staff,
we don't have to, but that's not part of that, no.
we don't have to. Okay.
My question is, Mr. Chair, I just want to state for the record, quite often people have in public comments stated that the SPLOST projects are being held up or they're not moving fast enough. And since we've had that position, we've just seen the SPLOST projects moving and holding the, our SPLOST program managers accountable for our money and so forth. And I guess my question is, who's going to be handling all this SPLOST stuff? Or, as the people say, they wanted to see the SPLOST projects move. Where does this stuff go now?
And trust me, we pay Moreland Altability, or that might not be the name now, but a whole lot of money to be our SPLOST managers. They're doing a good job, just like before the deputy CEO position was created. We're going to be moving forward with the position, whether he's here or not. But just like you and I and everybody up here on this board, one position, one man or one woman does not slow up the progress of the county. I am confident with the people who we have working for us in those positions that we're going to be able to continue to move these projects forward.
Let me say,
I'm
No, go
Mr. Chair,
on.
of course, I'm not want to get into any argument or showboating, but I would just like to say, we did see some rapid movement of the SPLOST projects getting out of the ground with that. And that's kind of all I have to say. And we did, and we saw the program manager being held accountable, with the SPLOST monies. So that's really all I have to say.
Mr. Chair,
Hold on a second.
I'm sorry, I
That's,
apologize.
Commissioner Hamburger.
yes, mine is not a question, but a comment regarding that position. Before we approved that position, and if I'm correct, we were not completing any SPLOST projects. And once we put that position in place and the person really started moving on the SPLOST projects and all, and saved the county money, there were several occasions where he found out that we were being overcharged for some of the projects and all. So not only did the projects get going, but also save the taxpayers dollars on those projects and all.
And I will agree, there were some savings that were realized, but at the same time, I think it's disingenuous to say that no SPLOST projects were moving because some projects were moving forward. So, and, Commissioner.
Mr. Chair, I just want to add, I have actually heard quite the difference. I do speak directly to these project, I guess, the architects that are involved, and as well as to some other folks, and I've heard that a lot of our projects have been slowed down because of constant changes that have been allowed to be made underneath this person in this position. To be quite honest with you, I don't feel that we have moved as quickly as it's been stated that we've moved on SPLOST projects. In particular, the intergenerational facility, we should have been much further along. And we had presentations where it only featured one particular area at times, and I don't want to keep going into it, but I do support the fact that if we have a chairman, we have a COO, and we also have Moreland Altabelli, we should be able to move forward.
Any other comment statements? All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Next.
The next is Resolution 2019-18, which is a resolution to abolish the marketing and communications superintendent position in the Department of Parks and Recreation, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes.
All right, is there a motion?
So
Motion
moved,
to
Mr.
approve.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Statements, concerns? All right, hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Next.
I believe that's everything that I have.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the next several items are board appointments.
All right, the first appointment is to the Board of Elections and Registration to fill the expired term of Diane Givens. Term is 4 years, expiring on December 31st, 2022. Commissioner Davis's appointment. Do you have a recommendation?
I move to reappoint Ms. Givens back to that board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next appointment is to the Board of Elections as well and Registration to fill the expired term of Patricia Pular. Term is 4 years, expiring December 31st, 2022. Commissioner Gregory's appointment. Do you have a recommendation?
Yes, sir. I move to reappoint Ms. Pilar to continue serving on the Board of Elections and Registration.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next item is affirm and ratify the reappointment of Troyce Lancaster to post 3 on the Civil Service Board. The term is 3 years, expiring on December 31st, 2021. This select person was selected by the elected officials of Clayton County, and we would just be ratifying their selection. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I'll second the motion. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next appointment is to Development Authority Board, Redevelopment Authority Board, and Urban Redevelopment Agency to fill the unexpired term of Dr. Alika Anderson. Term expires on March 1st, 2019, full board appointment. Is there any recommendation?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I'd like to recommend Mr. Larry Vincent to fill that position.
Is there a second?
Second.
Probably moved in second. Any question, statements, comments? Hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Next appointment is Development Authority Board, Redevelopment Authority Board, and Urban Redevelopment Agency to fill the unexpired term of Wayne Clark. Term expires on March 1st, 2019, full board appointment. Any recommendations?
Yes, Chairman, I move that we appoint Mr. Herman Andrews, Jr.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
It's 3-2, it passes. Next item is appointment to the Development Authority Board, Redevelopment Authority Board, and Urban Redevelopment Agency to fill the unexpired term of Michael Edmondson. The term expires on March 1st, 2021, full board appointment. Are there any recommendations? I have a recommendation. I'd like to recommend Helen McSwain. Is there a second?
Second.
Any
Question.
comments?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Has Mr. Edmondson submitted his resignation?
It is my interpretation that when he was appointed by this board, he was appointed in the position that he held, which is sitting board of commissioner. Matter of fact, he even approached the incoming commissioner and asked him if he wanted to be on the board as a commissioner. So it is truly my opinion that just like when Ricky Clark left the board and this board did not require a resignation from him, that is similar somewhat in nature. So,
I beg to differ, Mr. Chairman.
well,
He was taken off because of the residency
was
requirement.
it not your interpretation of what proper,
He was not a,
taxpayer
he
meant?
was not a taxpayer, right?
I
not
said
taxpaying citizen.
taxpayer, not property tax.
Let-
I
let-
said
So
taxpayer.
so the rest of that was left up to this board's interpretation.
Correct, sir.
No real
And to be
property.
quite honest with you, when a person does have a residency here, they have a tag here, they also may have a business, but even if they are renting the facility or the place, then they're essentially still paying taxes as a pass-through entity. And I can pull up some tax codes on that for you if you'd like to have that.
Well, we're not here on that
Right,
one,
we're talking
so,
about the
yeah,
difference.
we're-
It's not a.
But I'm just saying, he
We're here to
paid,
talk about this seat here, so,
he paid.
any other questions?
I do. Again, where is it in the code, that ties the term that he served to Development Authority to his term on the commission?
Well, I've made my statement, ma'am. That is my interpretation, and that's the way I'm gonna proceed.
Mr. Chair, I call for the question.
The question's been called. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Going back to the regular appointment. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Next appointments to Clayton County Advisory Board for Parks and Recreation to fill the expired term of Jarvis Jackson. The term is 4 years, expiring on December 31st, 2022. Commissioner Gregory's appointment. Do you have a
Yes, sir. I
recommendation?
offer a motion to reappoint Mr. Jarvis Jackson to serve on the Advisory Board for Parks and Recreation.
Is there a second?
Second?
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Last appointment is to the Clayton County Advisory Board for Parks and Recreation to fill the expired term of Steve Lundquist. Term is 4 years, expiring on December 31st, 2022. Commissioner Davis's appointment. Do you have a recommendation?
I move that we reappoint Mr. Steve Lundquist.
I'll second that motion. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Madam Clerk, that concludes those appointments. We don't have executive session, so we'll go right into public comment. And while we're waiting to do public comment, I'd like everybody to officially welcome Commissioner DeMont Davis, please. Do we have a sheet, sign a sheet? Mr. Davis, Commissioner Davis, you would like to have anything to say?
I just want to say thank you all for allowing me to come work for you in this capacity. And I look forward to doing the job that you all have elected me to do in a very orderly and a manner that is acceptable to you all. That's it.
The board will now hear public comments. Citizens will be given 3 minutes maximum time limit to speak before the Board of Commissioners. Please state your name and county of residency for the record. Speak clearly into the microphone, and speakers should be courteous, respectful, and not make any disparaging remarks or use abusive language when addressing the board.
Timothy Vondale Jefferson.
Happy New Year, Chairman, Commissioners. Welcome to the Board, Commissioner Davis. I have some information I'd like to share with the board in referencing the Development Authority. These are invoices that I would like for review. As an unelected citizen that resides in District 3, and my genuine concern is economic development, I am quite disturbed in the last 7 months. This Development Authority have spent over $300,000 and counting, and we have not received any deliverables for the taxpayers' money. This particular company The Star Agency is a consultant. I have respectfully requested the contract that's allegedly supposed to be with the Development Authority. I have not received that contract through the open records, but I did receive the invoices. There was another company prior to that, Georgia Public Affairs, that had a $6,000 contract for lobbying purposes that was tied into the alleged Amazon deal. They terminated the contract on October 31st, and the Development Authority gave Mr. Wade Starr this contract. We, myself, and the elected officials have a fiduciary responsibility for taxpayer monies. $300,000 and counting. There are no deliverables for this $3,500 a month. He has since received $7,000, and I haven't seen any deliverables or any benchmarks for receiving this funding. It is very disturbing. I think that in your fiduciary responsibility, I think that we need to review this. If we have to get an outside attorney, because the attorneys that we have right now are questionable in their actions and moving forward.
How about not having any outbursts, please?
So, as a citizen, I'm very, very concerned. 300,000 in counting with no deliverables. Are we gonna wait till they spend $500,000, $1 million, $2 million before we decide to take action? That's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Rob Leatherwood.
Evening, Chairman, Commissioners, newly elected Commissioner Davis, welcome aboard. Rob Leatherwood, Riverdale. Commissioner Gregory, at the last board meeting, you were talking about these new do not litter signs to put up, which I think is a great endeavor. But you mentioned a few things during your comments that this has been a pet peeve of yours, I guess for the past 12 years that you've been in office. And so my question is, I had a discussion with Commissioner Hambrick once before about Keep Clayton County Beautiful. One discussion that came up is that it was in place once before, and funding was removed from that. Considering that yourself, Commissioner Gregory, and Commissioner Hambrick, you all were the two senior commissioners that were involved in that vote, no one seems to quite have an answer as to why that was removed at that time. But being that this was something, again, that you mentioned is a pet peeve of yours that you want to see solved, and that you've used a focus group of citizens to come up with some solutions. Well, you do have these Solid Waste Authority Board, which this Board of Commission has appointed, and we've come before you with a solution, again, of Keep Clayton County Beautiful. And so if it's really a pet peeve, I don't understand why we have not passed that yet. One of the things I've noticed is we've compared ourselves to other metro counties when we talk about the burn ban. We compare ourselves to those counties when we talk about mandatory trash pickup, but then when all of those counties participate in a Keep Georgia Beautiful initiative, we don't want to look at that, or we don't compare ourselves to that. Commissioner Hambrick, one of the things, the discussion that you and I had once before, was that those counties are much bigger than we are. They have more residents, which they do, and they have a much bigger budget. At the time that was presented, the Solid Waste Board was recommending a budget of $160,000 for 2 individuals to initiate the program. You wanted to know what other counties similar to our size was doing. One such county is in Augusta. I had the opportunity of speaking with the executive director in Augusta. They have approximately 200,000 residents. So if Clayton County is roughly 300,000 residents, they have 3 full-time positions for their Keep Augusta Beautiful with a budget of $211,000. So again, if we're going to take this seriously. People have come before and mentioned how important it is to make this county look clean and beautiful. 2019 is the year for us to do that. It's the year to make the decision, to get on board with all the other counties are doing. The biggest thing I hear from the other counties is Clayton County needs a Keep Clayton County Beautiful. And so please, let's implement that this year. And thank you for your time and Happy New Year.
Same to you. Mickey Garber.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing to bitch about at this time. I yield the floor to the next speaker. Thank you.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Kevin Ross.
Good evening, members of the commission. My name is Kevin Ross. I'm a resident of Fulton County. I'm here in my capacity as an attorney for Airport Fast Park, which is the off-airport parking facility near the Maynard Jackson International Terminal. It is in the Mountain View area. And the Chavez family, represented here by Salvador Chavez, are the owners of this business. And we just wanted to share a word or two of concern regarding the county's processes, if you will, regarding things like the land use moratorium and things of that sort, where the property owners aren't getting much notice and aren't getting an opportunity to share their input into the land use deliberations that you're undertaking. We would hope that going forward, there would be a greater opportunity for these businesses, including Airport Fast Park, to have some input into the process. I think you will find that as a lot of these businesses are very experienced, not just here locally in Atlanta or around the country, in dealing with land use issues, that they could actually add valuable input to what the county is trying to accomplish. They are a responsible corporate citizen, have been doing business in Metro Atlanta and in Clayton County for decades, and just wanted to share that sentiment this evening, that we'd like to be a little bit more involved in the process as you can continue going forward and you have your various land use considerations. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, that concludes public comment. And again, we don't have an executive session, but before I ask for an adjournment, I definitely want to let our elected officials know that are here tonight. I appreciate you being here as always. I see City of Morrow officials, state representatives, and tax commissioners, so forth. Your support is definitely appreciated. But also, and to Mr. Ross's point, I'm not the one to bury my head in the sand, so I know that this board has a lot of work to do in terms of restoring public trust. So I can just tell you from my perspective, from my standpoint, that I'm totally committed to making sure that Clayton County citizens, as well, especially our business investors, know that we are committed to try to do all we can to work with you. Not to try, but we will work with you. But always remember, we want what's best for Clayton County, and we want what's best in the best interest of our citizens. So, but in order to know that, we need to have you at the table. We have to talk to you. We have to have a clear line of communication and just know forthcoming that will happen. You won't be given last minute notice or no notice at all. If it's within our ability, and it is within our ability, and those people who work for us, you will get the notice that is due you because you have an investment in Clayton County. You live here, you work here, you put your business in Clayton County. We can do better and we shall do better. Because as we move Clayton County forward and progress and be prosperous, we all have to do it together. We have to work with our cities, our business people, and our citizens. Because at the end of the day, it's about being Clayton strong, and that's what we're going to do. So thank you. All right, so the only colleague, and she is correct, we just need to make sure that we know that everybody knows that we don't use profanity in this building. So let's please be mindful and respectful of those who have to hear it. That does not require a comment, sir. So. Yes. Anybody, any other commissioner? Okay, with that being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Have a great evening, everyone.